Everybody is reading about ESG in the news, and certainly it's in every boardroom discussion, and it is harder to define what is ESG. It's three initials. I prefer to think of it as by its older term, which is people, profit, and planet. So how is it that you do well by all of those so they aren't mutually exclusive? The E is the environment, and how well is your company sustaining environmental practices in building and their supply chain and all of those things. The S is social, so are you reflecting diversity and inclusion in your governance? Are you reflecting diversity and inclusion in the boardroom and in your promotions and senior leadership team? So it's vitally important in today's business because for very simple and straightforward reasons, if you are not showing up in a favorable light in any of these, people, profit, or planet, your customers are going to stay away and you will lose business. And just as importantly, in a very competitive labor market, you will not be able to attract and retain the best and the brightest. So that's what ESG is and why it's so important today. So Monday of this week, which is March of 2022, the SEC mandated sweeping disclosures on ESG. And the temptation in the face of that is to view ESG as a rubber stamp or a necessary hurdle that you have to audit and put forward. But I think it's very important that we look to ESG as a vision for how we can improve our collective future. The pandemic taught us irrefutably that we are hopelessly interconnected to one another. The environment is connected, our societies are interconnected, our economies are interconnected. So I think if we can think about ESG as the carrot instead of the stick, sure, there are going to be disclosures that are mandated, but there's also this vision for a better future for everybody, for the planet, and for the people that are sharing that planet. I think that is a more hopeful way to think about what ESG can do for us. Implementing ESG strategies means change, and the question becomes what's the most effective way to implement change across an enterprise? And my observation has been that those changes happen most smoothly or implemented most smoothly when the vision is held at the enterprise level, but the actual operating day-to-day changes are held by the operators at the management level, and it becomes part of the everyday and how they do business. So every day, how are they thinking about environmentally sustainable practices? Every day, how are they thinking about diversity and inclusion in how they attract, hire, and promote the people who work for them? So I think that's probably the easiest way to think about how you align around the changes in big and complex organizations.